Hello and welcome back to the Reapers. Today we're in our AV-8B and we're going to be looking at bombing with unguided bombs. I'm going to show as much as I can about this unguided bombing in one tutorial. So before we go any further, let's see what bombs we can load up. So we're going to go to the army screen. We're going to look at first of all pylons 1 and 7, the outer pylons. Right click, bombs. So on this pylon we can have BDU-33 training bombs. GBU will skip over those because they're not unguided bombs. Mark 20 is the Mark 20 Rockeye. That is a cluster munition. That is one that we'll try today, a cluster bomb. The Mark 81 is a 500-pound bomb, I believe. No, 250-pound bomb with a 130-pound warhead, I believe. Mark 82 is a 500-pound bomb with a 250-pound warhead. Mark 82 Snake Eye is the same as a Mark 82, but it is high drag or optional high drag. It has metal fins that can stick out of the back and slow down its descent. And a Mark 82 Air, I believe, is similar to the Snake Eye in that it is high drag, but it uses a parachute instead. So on these outer pylons, we're going to go just for the basic Mark 82 Slick. Pylon 2, bombs, hell of a load. So unguided, Mark 82 times Mark 82. In fact, basically here are where we can have 2 lots of bombs. Here are where we can have 3 lots of bombs. And here are the single bombs. So BDU training again. Mare 3, so that's basically a rack with 3 times Mark 81s on. That is the Mark 20 Rockeye again. That's single Mark 81. That is a Mark 82, single Mark 82, Mark 82 Snake Eye, Mark 82 Air. Mark 83 is a 1,000-pound bomb, 500-pound warhead. LUU2 are illumination bombs, I believe. You drop them and they come down on parachute and illuminate the battlefield. So that's that. So on pylons 2 and 6, why don't we do cluster bombs, shall we? We'll just take one on each side. We can take multiple, but we don't really need it for this video. And pylon 3 is going to be pretty much the same as 2 and 6. So let's go to bombs. I'm just looking for any difference. No, it appears to be exactly the same. And what we're going to put on these are 3 times high drag Snake Eyes.
Copy.
While that's arming up, let's talk about the different type of bombing we're going to do. So with the Mark 82 Slicks on the outside, we're going to do medium height dive bombing.
Refueling complete.
With CCIP targeting. So to show that off. With the Mark 82s on the middle pylons, we're going to be doing medium height auto bombing, otherwise known as CCRP, so that's a different type of targeting system. And then with the Snake Eyes on the 6 Snake Eyes on the inner pylons, we're going to be doing low-level bombing, low-level ripple bombing using CCIP targeting. So we've got our bombs armed up. The next thing we need to do is set them up. You can't just drop them. They need setting up, fusing and whatnot. So we're going to go here, back to our main menu, to our store screen, and let's start with the 82 Slicks on the edge. So here's the information for the bomb drop, and here is our ability to configure it. So first of all, what mode would we like to drop them in? These we're going to drop in CCIP. We can have CCIP, DSL or Auto. Auto is like a CCRP drop that we'll go through later. CCRP is continuously calculated impact point that we're going to be using. And DSL, I believe, is a manual mode of dropping, a bit like you would in like an F5 or something where you don't have advanced avionics. So we're going to go to CCIP for this. Now let's look at the fuse. Currently it's safe. We need to set a fuse. So we can go instant, delay 1, delay 2. I've forgotten what V is. I can't remember what V is. Nose, fuse, instant, delay, nose, delay 1, nose, delay 2, tail, fuse, instant delay, delay 1, delay 2, again I can't remember what V is, nose, tail, instant, and so on and so forth. Loads of them. Most of them I don't know what they are, to be honest. My standard one I go for is nose, tail, instant. If you want a certain amount of penetration with your bomb, you may go for one of the delays and so on. Next is quantity. This is how many bombs I want to drop in my bomb run. In this case, we're going to drop 2 bombs. So we're going to drop 2 bombs, and I want to drop them both at the same time, at the same press of the button, with no delay in between them. So they both come off the rack at the same time. So what I'm going to do for that is have my multiple of 2. So it's going to drop 2 bombs in total. And the multiples at 2, so 2 are going to come off on the single click of the button. Therefore, we don't need any delay. Here's the interval between each bomb drop, and we don't want any delay because they're going to come off at the same time. So that is our 82 Slicks set up. Next, we're going to go for our snake eyes. We've got two versions we can use. It's 82 low drag, 82 high drag. High drag is where the fins come out fully. 82 low drag I've never actually used. Presumably the fins don't come out fully, or they don't come out at all with low drag. So 82 high drag we want. Right, same old stuff. So for these we're going to use Ccip. We're going to use nose tail again, if we can go and find that. With these snake eyes, we're going to drop them all in one big long strip in what we call a ripple. We're going to fly low over the target. We can drop at low altitude with snake eyes because they drop slowly, obviously, because they're high drag. Therefore, the plane can get away from the impact spot fast enough, which is why we're going to be using the high drags in this situation. A bit like a Vigan would drop high drag bombs in a long line very low. Okay, where were we? We're going to drop all 6 of them. And multiple, we're going to leave as 1. So that means we're going to drop 6, but only 1 come off the rack at a time. And we want an interval. These are, forgive me, but I can't remember exactly what these mean, but these are fractions of seconds. So I think this is tenths of seconds, so 1/10 of a second between each drop, 2/10 between each drop. Honestly, I have no idea what to use, so I'm just going to use 1/10 of a second. Oh, in fact, why don't we say 15ths of a second between each drop. Okay, so that is 82 snake eyes set up. Next, our Mark 20 rock eyes, our cluster bombs. So same old thing. We're going to use auto for this one. We're going to use. We got 2 types of fusing for cluster bombs: OP and PR. Forgive me, I don't know what PR means. I've always just been told to use OP. So OP is what we're doing. And why don't we drop again both 2 of them and both at the same time on the same impulse? Okay. Next, we're going to look at the controls we're going to be using. So, adjust controls. We're going to be dropping the bomb with bomb pickle. To use our auto mode, our CCRP mode of targeting, we're going to be using sensor select aft. We're going to be using TDC aft, as well as left, right, and forward. And that's all we're going to be using today, I believe. So, stand by as we get into the air. The first thing we're going to do is find some bad guys and go and send out a big ripple of Mark 83 snake eyes. Okay, we're airborne. We're going to start getting set up now. We're going to go air to ground mode. Master arm on. We're going to select our Mark 82 high drag snake eyes. Get everything selected. Now, first thing to note is that we get some symbology with the Ccip style of targeting that we've got. We've got this plumb line drawn down here, and there will be some targeted information on the predicted point of where our impact would be. And so why don't we just go and do a test run with the ground here. So I'm going to go into a dive here just to show the symbology. And let's just pause there. So you can see we've had to go quite low, I think probably because these are high drag snake eyes. You can see that point there. If I were to press the button now, that's where my first bomb would drop, basically, okay? So that's how we're going to do it. Out the corner of my eye, I did spot some targets. I thought I did anyway, so let me go and have another look. Oh, there, yep, there's some bad guys. Right, so we'll do a run around, and we're going to go in for a low approach with these snake eyes. We're going to go about 200 feet, maybe even 100 feet. Once we have got our Ccip pipper on the first vehicle, then we're going to keep our finger on the bomb pickle button, and that's going to send all of our bombs out in the sequence that we set. And hopefully I've set a decent sequence. We'll have to see. I'm not very experienced in the Harrier. Okay, rolling in on target. Aim to be 400 knots or above by the time we get to the target. We want to get our CCRP plumb line right above our targets if we can. Lose some altitude. Okay, that's looking okay. We're going to go hold, and up we go. Let's see what that's done. So that was a pretty good hit. We nailed a lot of those trucks. So that was a good use of the Ccip high drag in ripple mode with about the right interval, as it turns out. So now we're going to go for our next drop. Our next drop is going to be, we're going to go for a single tank. and we're going to go for our Mark 82 slicks. We're already set up in Ccip mode. This time we're going to do medium altitude dive bombing. So we're going to head back round for our target. We're going to get up to 5,000 feet. We're going to dive down on the target. Our point of release is really going to depend when our Ccip pipper is in place. But the key is not to get too low, because these are slick bombs. They're not high drag. So we don't want to be too low when dropping. Otherwise, I don't think there's any real rules. Speed, again, about 400 plus knots is good to give our bomb plenty of energy. Right, regards, dive angle, 10 to 20 degrees seems to be the best. Note that I've essentially set a target point, mark point there, but we're going to ignore that. We're just going to be bombing completely by eye here, and we're going to pick on that guy at the end of the convoy there. So let's roll in a little bit. Let's get our speed up. Okay, we're going to dive now in about whatever that is, about 10 degrees, 15 degrees by the looks of it. Wait for our pipper to appear at the bottom. Here it comes. And patience. And drop. Right, fingers crossed. Ever so slightly missed, but it looks like we hit the guy behind him. So that's okay. 20 feet out. Right, next we're going to go for our rock eyes. So we're going to select our rock eyes. And we're going to be dropping these guys again together, but we're going to be dropping them with automatic, or CCRP mode as I like to call it. So with automatic mode, there's going to be some more work for us to do regards the targeting. The first thing to point out is you can see that we've by doing what we did there and bombing those guys, we set a mark point or a target point, and we can tell that because we've got a distance to target there. Now we want to get rid of that, and I forgot to show this earlier, but we're going to use this button here, AG target undesignate. So let's do that now. That clears our target. Next, we're going to head towards the target, and I'm going to use the smoke as a guide. We're going to hover our path vector roughly over the target, and then we're going to press sensor select, and I'll show you what happens once we get there. Where are those targets? There they are. So let's just hover roughly over them, about there will do. Sensor select aft now, and that's brought up this little chap here. It's a laser targeting system, just to show you that does happen. Now if we're going to press the same button again, sensor select down, this brings up our TV targeting point here. Now what we're going to do is get this path marker here, put that over the smoke there, and then I'm going to press TDC aft. So let me try and get that there. Okay, what that's done is it's locked a target point in position for us, and that camera, which is built into the nose of the plane, is now locked into that position. What I'm going to do next is use the TDC slew left, right, up and down to target an actual vehicle for us, so stand by for that. Looking for a vehicle, How about that little chap there? Okay, that's good, and we're going to move in nice and close just to make sure we've got that nice and accurate. Yep, pretty happy with that. Next, what we're going to do is turn out to about 5 miles for our bombing run. Now, we will need to get some altitude. I said we're going to do medium altitude bombing for this, so let's get about 5,000 feet AGL with our bombs, and we're going to come in for an auto bombing. So let me just head outwards. Okay, so we've just reached 5 miles from the target. We're going to head in now. Speed-wise, it doesn't really matter, but there's no reason not to be about 400 knots, so we'll do that. Altitude, I'm going to go in about 5,000 feet. Because I said it would be medium altitude bombing. There's no real limit to the altitude in terms of height, but there is a minimum altitude for dropping these rock eyes, which is, I've always said, about 1,000 feet. Now, I don't know how accurate that is, but that's just what I've always worked by, and it works. We're going to fly in level. We can go in a slight dive, but we're just going to go more or less level. Now, there we go. Our target is back. I don't know if you noticed, but when we were facing away from the target, the screen disappeared and went black because it was out of the parameters of our camera in the nose. When we turned back in, it's come up again. It remembered its position in memory, and it's come back again. And so we can see our target is still locked in. There it is. Now, symbology, we've got a plumb line again. Rather than the plumb line being attached to our path vector and our aircraft, it's now attached essentially to the target, which is there. Our job is to fly to that line, so we want to fly so that our path vector there stays as closely matched to this line as possible. Then we'll get a countdown. In fact, we've got a countdown already. You can see our countdown here is 49 seconds. So that is going to roll down until 0 seconds. At 7 seconds, I want to keep my finger and hold on the bomb pickle until the bombs release, and it will calculate the point to release them and release them when it's ready. Right, so let's get on it. So I've got to concentrate on getting on this line now. It can be finicky and take a bit of practice, so just be patient with it. It helps if you can fly at a slight dive, just very slight, so you can see the target for as long as you can, I find. So we're in an ever so slight dive now. We've got our CCRP or auto line pretty good at the moment, slightly off maybe. 24 seconds to go on the countdown, 4 miles to go. Don't want to get too wiggly, so that's, as we get closer it gets harder and harder to follow the line. Right, 7 seconds, holding the bomb pickle down now. Oh shit, I've just lost the line. Oh, can we get it back? Can we get it back? Oh, I lost it at the last minute. Oh well, let's see how they go. Whee! Right, let's wait for those bomblets to fall. Oh, bang on the target. Absolutely exactly where we went. So that's those 2 guys down. Right. So that's a fairly comprehensive use of the bombs. I've shown how to arm the bombs, how to the difference in fuses, how to drop quantities, how to drop multiples, how to drop intervals, how to drop single drops, how to drop ripples, how to drop high drags from low altitude, slicks from medium altitude, and cluster bombs from medium altitude. The only thing I didn't show was using the manual mode, and that's because I never really use it. I'm not even sure why it's really there, but that I hope that helps, and I'll see you later.